that ihram is a component of three things: the cloth, the niyyah, and the talbiyah. Give me the ihram. So we said that the way of wearing the ihram for gents, the best ihram for female is a full chadar, proper hijab. It is Ehtiyat Sunnah, you can wear a white cloth like the salwar kameez and the big chadar you wear white to look uniform, but it is not necessary. Agha Sistani says a full black chadar covered, all the necessary parts required to be covered in ihram, it's fine for ladies, and it's fine for them. For gents, the conditions of the ihram we know: it should be white, it should be cotton, it should not be stitched, this is woven, it should be pak, it should be yours, it should be sufficient to cover the knee and the navel, and up to cover both the shoulders. There should be no sewn or stitched cloth underneath, nothing. Okay? So now I will show you, come hold this, how to wear the ihram once again. Okay? Yeah, maybe. Okay, not to. Yeah, it's okay. So let me show you the method of wearing the ihram. Remember, one of the mubtilat-e-ihram is to cover the head. So when you have put the lower part and you have already made talbiyah, and if the upper part falls down, now when you want to put the upper part back, remember not to, by mistake, get it over your head, because you will be covering your head. So be careful about putting it. Be careful of putting it this way, so you don't cover your head. So the upper part is very easy, right? The upper part, a little shorter, a little longer, and you cover it like you do the usual shawl, and you wear the shawl. Some put a pin here, it is fine, so that it doesn't fall down all the time. Some people wear it this way, exactly same, and then they put a pin here. That is also fine. Okay? And the lower part, this is the best way of putting it. It remains very tight, and in many, many years of our experience, we haven't seen it coming out at all. So, you put both together, and then you take one part here, and the other part with this one here. Then you pull this as much as you can, as tight as you can, like the normal lungi, and fold it. Fold it once, 2 times. Now it is as tight as it can be. Under normal circumstances, nobody can pull it and it will not fall down. As I told you last time, you can try to pull it. But don't pull it too hard, like the miria. Pull. It won't come out. It is alright to wear a belt which is not stitched, with the niyat of protecting your money and your ID, but not with the niyat of securing the ihram. But it will be a plastic kind of thingy without stitches. It is like the press buttons inside, they wear it with little metal thing, and you put your coins and money and whatever inside. but it also helps to secure. But that's like, okay. So it's fine to wear like this. And you have seen today I have been wearing this. So in the state of ihram, it is fine to carry your backpack or a pouch like this. For men, it is not allowed to wear stitched clothes, but this is a stitched one, and this is not a cloth. This is for putting your phone and money and your passport and whatever other things were. And it is also a sense of identity that you belong to whichever group where the phone numbers and things are there. Just perchance it is lost or you are lost. And then you are given a badge to wear. This badge is necessary to wear. It is written here the detail of what is your house number and who is your leader. The leader, every country has got their markers, they have got their kind of headquarter. So African countries, A, B, C, D, they will be in such and such place and their mutawif is so and so. So if you are lost, you just go to the police and say, please, this is where I belong. And they will arrange a police car and send you where you go. Or they will take you to the headquarter there where the Hujjaj will be phoned and say, the volunteers, your men or your Hujjaj is here with us at such and such place, come and pick them. So that you are not lost, because it's new. But nowadays a lot of development has happened, including the mobile phone, where if you are lost, you send a text message, Karim, I am somewhere here, there is a big green building and there is this and this, and if you are lost anywhere, particularly in Makkah, don't panic. Don't panic at all. Nobody has been left there forever. They have always come back home. Only there is a little fear factor, like Bibi Hajra had that fear factor, that something might have happened to you. So we are all now worried. Like accident થયો હશે, faint થઈ ગયો હશે, heart attack આવ્યો હશે, શું થયો હશે, બીમાર હતો, તાવ હતો એને, diabetes છે, heart no problem છે, you are not seen with the group, then everybody gets worried. If you are able to text message even to one person in the group, text him. If you are not, don't panic. Stay where you are for a while, at least for an hour, because volunteers are all ready for us. નથી દેખાનું? The last time I saw him in Marwa, they will all come like, a whole team looking for Karim. Aya હતું last, so he may be sitting in that shade, or he may be going to his favorite place for the Miwa juice. So let's look for him. He must be somewhere around. Don't panic at all. Nothing will happen. And at the worst case scenario, take your ID, show it to the police, and they will take you to the place to rest. You relax, take out tasbih, and you will be back home in no time. But wear your ID. And this is another ID. And in Mina, we will be given an ID of this type. There will be the number of the tent. All this barcode is indicating something, and you have your name and a photograph, the one you submitted for the visa and things. So this is your badge, and everything is written there. So you can't enter the tent if you don't show this ID. Suppose you forgot or lost this one, don't panic. You are in Mina, call any one of the volunteers, and they will come and receive you there. Okay? So the question of being lost or not being able to reach your place in Mina or in Makkah is out of question. Don't fear at all. Sir, agreed? And ihram, we know how to wear it. I'm repeating the ihram one because now we are going to Hajj Tamattu. So we said that in Umrah Tamattu, the first one was ihram, and ihram was two pieces of cloth, and then you have to make niyyah. And you make niyyah of Umrah Tamattu, that in Masjid al-Shajara, the first miqat, you remember? The first miqat, that's Masjid al-Shajara. Thank you. There you will wear the ihram, the two pieces of cloth, and you make niyyah. So when you make niyyah, already you are wearing the cloth. So you just symbolically make it like as if una malizia kuva, like you are completing to wear it. Look now, okay, fine, I'm ready. Just like you are, now I'm ready to go for the wedding or whatever meeting, right? So now you are just symbolically wearing your ihram and making niyat. It is your wajib niyat. I'm wearing ihram for Umrah Tamattu, for Hajjul Islam, wajib kurbatan ilallah. So two things are done. And the third one is talbiyah. The short one, only for labbaik, wajib. The longer one, recommended. So let's recite again. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك. And that you will continue reciting. Once you do the niyat, the ihram and the talbiyah, now you are in state of ihram, and those 25 things which we discussed about becomes incumbent upon you. Okay? Now you will go for tawaf. Then we will do the tawaf. Then you do 2 rakah salah of tawaf behind Maqam Ibrahim. Then you go for Safa Marwa. Safa to Marwa, remember. Safa to Marwa. And Safa is on your left if you are facing the Kaaba. So once you finish your salah behind Maqam Ibrahim, towards your left is Safa, not towards your right. There will be confusion. Because when you ask somebody, where is Masa? Masa means the Sa'i part. They may tell you there, and you go. That's Marwa. You have to start from Safa. All these things you will make niyyah. You will making niyyah. I'm doing tawaf. I'm doing 2 rakat salah of the tawaf of Umrah Tamattu. And then you do sa'i. I'm doing sa'i of Umrah Tamattu. And then you do taksir and you are over with Umrah Tamattu. Right? So we usually travel on either 2nd or 3rd Zilhajj from Medina. So when we travel from 2nd or 3rd Zilhajj to Makkah, by usually 4th of Zilhajj, we have most of us have completed the Umrah Tamattu. Okay? There will be some other small things, maybe you have to repeat, maybe there was a mistake which had to be corrected before you start Hajj Tamattu, so I'm going to repeat my Umrah, there was a mistake and things like that. There will be Masaels about this, and there will be ulama with us. So any nitty-gritty detail one, we can ask the Maulanas. Remember that I am not an alim of that standing. So this is the basic fundamental things which we are talking about. Things, if you do basic these things, then you will not go wrong. If there are any other nitty-gritty things, details which I may not be able to answer, there are alims there. They will answer us. Okay? Now we are in Makkah. We have finished Umrah Tamattu. I did taksir. I'm going home. I took a bath and now I'm changed back to my normal clothes. Kanzu and whatever, or trouser and shirt or whatever, right? So now I'm out of ihram and I'm relaxing in the house or hotel. In Makkah, we have a house which is near the city council in Makkah, which is about 25 minutes brisk walk. So weather permitting, it's a nice walk. But if weather is too hot, take a cab, or the volunteers will be setting shuttles to come and pick you. But that also sometimes is a problem because there are a lot of barricades of traffic. So be prepared of all those little bit hardships here and there, and not be grumpy, because we are told the best thing in Hajj is to have good behavior. Why did the car did not come? You are waiting 1 hour. Kumbe car has been caught by traffic there and it was not allowed to move. And communication has been a problem. So don't panic. You take a taxi and come back. You can pull 2 or 3 people, come back. Or if you are able to, there's quite a lot of shade there and you are not in a state of ihram now anymore, just walk it. So now you are in Makkah on, let's say, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th Zilhajj. In Makkah, you have to do now nothing. Nothing in the sense from ahkam of Hajj. You have to wait for the day of Arafat. Okay? So during that time, you can go to the Kaaba and do Sunnat Tawaf, or just look at the Kaaba, go inside to pray namaz, to recite Quran, to make dua, and all those other things. You can walk gently with a bottle of water, keep hydrated, and then while we come from Al-Jumayza, where we will be staying, when we come towards the Kaaba, there are a number of historical things we can always discuss. As you pass from the residence and go to Makkah, to the Haram, then there is Jannat-e-Mu'alla, the graveyard, the graveyard of Mu'alla. Jannat-e-Mu'alla is where Bibi Khadija is buried, Hazrat Abu Talib is buried, and many ulamas are buried. So you stand there and make ziyarah. They don't allow you to stand in public with groups. Then you can recite while you are walking. You don't need to recite all the details, everything, large 2 pages and things. You can recite from home that I am going to walk, and when I reach Jannat-e-Mu'alla, I will just raise my hand or I'll glance at the green grill there inside Jannat-e-Mu'alla, and that is the grave of Bibi Khadija, the Muhsina-e-Islam, the woman who sacrificed everything for Islam. Just like when you say the ashab of Imam Hussein, alladhina badalu muhjahum dun al-Hussein alayhi salam. Bibi Khadija sacrificed everything for Islam. It's no less. So remember that and recite Fatiha, recite Salawat, do dua, and remember the sacrifices she did. The sacrifices Bibi Khadija did, that it reached a stage, this Malikatul Arab, the princess of Arabia, it reached a stage where she had to survive on wild grass. And when the time of her death came, the Prophet did not have anything for her kafan. There was a chadar of hers. If he covers the leg, the face gets open. If he covers the face, the legs get open. And then Allah sends the kafan from heaven. But that had reached the stage of death sacrifice. And no complaints. I come from a very rich family. This is how you treat me? No. It's for the sake of Allah, let it be. A lesson for us. Anyway, so in Makkah, on those 4 days, you just have to take that spirituality. It is a lot of sawab to pray in the Haram. Then there is Masjid-e-Ala, there's Masjid-e-Jinn, there's Jannat-e-Mu'alla, and within the campus around Makkah, there are a lot of things which you can see and make your spirituality better. Then on the 8th of Zilhajj, now you can see from this poster, there are 2 pathways. Do you see? There is 8th of Zilhajj and there is 9th night of Zilhajj. 9th night means next morning will be 9th day, the day of Arafah. This is 8th day. 8th day. There are 2 pathways. And you can opt to take both the pathways. You can see this dashed line is an optional pathway. This dashed line is the optional pathway. And this big line here is the main pathway. So, now I'm coming to Hajj Tamattu. We finished Umrah Tamattu. We rested 4 or 5 days in Makkah. We did a lot of tawaf. We reflected. We have inner energy. Now it is time for Hajj Tamattu. So, the second part is Hajj Tamattu. And again, it has these components. So I have put these components a little separate for ease of remembering. The first part here is Ihram, and then going to Arafat, Muzdalifah. Muzdalifah is also called Mashhar al-Haram. In the Quran, it is written as Mashhar al-Haram. Mashhar is like a big maidan, like a big open space, which is like the day of Qiyamah. Arafat and Muzdalifah are open fields. And then from Muzdalifah, you are going to Mina to hit the big shaitan, only the big. And then you do Qurbani or slaughtering and Halak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So don't panic. Let's go slowly with this. Okay? So we have already seen Makkah and seen the many things in Makkah, and now we are ready to go for Arafat. So first thing is to wear ihram. And ihram has to be worn in miqat. The miqat of Umrah Tamattu was Masjid Shajara. The miqat of Hajj Tamattu is your home, where you live, where you stay. Okay? That's the miqat. It is sunnat for men to go to the haram near around Maqam Ibrahim and to do the ihram. It is sunnah. So sometimes you want to do the sunnah, it is very nice, you have to, but the bus is waiting for everybody in order to leave for Arafat, and you are going to do something sunnah and inconveniencing other 99% people. Then the sunnah becomes too much diluted. It may even become haram because you are inconveniencing others. There's an old person waiting for the bus to start, etc., etc., right? So it is sunnah to go. If you find convenient time so that you reach in the bus in time without inconveniencing others, well and good. So we will not talk of this option now in order to avoid confusion. We are talking about the main option. Okay? So we are staying on the 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th. On the 9th night, which we commonly remember as a night where the wafat of 9th night of Zilhajj, wafat of Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil, right? So that's the night of wafat of Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil. But here we are going to Hajj, to Arafat. So in the miqat at home, I wear the ihram that we wore now. I make the niyat and I recite the talbiyah. Right? So I make the niyat. I am wearing the ihram for Hajj Tamattu, for Hajjul Islam, wajib kurbatan ilallah. For those for whom it is wajib Hajj. Okay? Once you finish wearing that, you recite talbiyah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wan ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika laka labbaik. Here, compared to that in Masjid Shajara, You don't have to continuously recite. You only recite once or twice until you go to the bus. Because actually you are not called to the haram. You are told to go out. So just for the wearing of ihram as part of the ahkam, you are reciting it because it's a requirement. But actually symbolically, you are actually going out of the house of Allah. Symbolically. Allah is telling you go. Symbolically, Allah is telling you go away. Because bado hujaelewa. Still, you haven't had the arafah, the knowledge of understanding me. Go. So now you are going with 2 pieces of cloth. You can take a little bit of your requirements for the journey. For instance, your books of Arafat. Maybe you need an extra pillow, so you take something extra. Maybe you need an extra ihram to put on, it is too cold, for example. You take a bottle of spray water. If it is too hot, you can spray each other water. Those things you can put in your little small backpack and take it with you. The second ahkam of Hajj Tamattu is Arafat. The wajib part of Arafat is from the Dhuhr of the day of Arafat. That is the 9th of Zilhajj. The wajib part is wukuf. Wukuf means wait, stop, station. Wukuf of Arafat is wajib aini. You have to be physically present there. Sufficient amount of time for anybody to say, yes, Karim was there. Suppose there is an emergency, I had to leave, but I was there for some point of time, but you have to be there. If you can't make it for Arafat, there is no Hajj. No Hajj Tamattu. Okay? And the wajib part is from Dhuhr till Maghrib. To do the wukuf of Arafat. That's it. But on the day of Arafat, is so important. Irrespective of whatever denomination you are in, whether you are Shia or Sunni, and in Sunni whether you are Shafi or Hanbali or Hanafi or Maliki or whatever, the day of Arafah is uniformly accepted to be the most holiest day in one's life. And therefore, how do you spend that most holiest day in your life? Sleep over, I'm relaxing, I'm sleeping, if you are sick, there is another story. You are awake, let me just move around, pick a story here, there. Don't waste time on the day of Arafat. The day of Arafat is the day, actually, you are actually trying to make sure you make amends with Allah. You are actually trying to make sure you get as much as possible istighfar from Allah as possible. You want to be as clean as possible. And when the Maghrib, when the sun sets in Arafat, there is a dua there. That dua, you look at the sunset and recite. Amazing dua. A very short dua. It says, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-faqri wa min tashattutil amri wa min sharri ma yahdithu bil-layli wan-nahar. I have done a lot of sins. I have done a lot of sins day and night in various situations. Amsi, zulmi. I have done zulm on myself. Mustajiran bi afwik. I am mustajir. I am asking you. I am begging you. I am pleading to you to do off work, to forgive me. Wamsi khawfi, and I am in the state of fear. Mustajiran bi amanik, I am seeking solace, security, peace from you, because I am in khawf. Wa amsi dhulli mustajiran bi izzatik, I have been in zalalat, but I am seeking from you mustajiran bi izzatik, I am seeking for you a status of respect. Amsi wajhil fani, I am this body, this face, which will disappear from earth. Mustajiran bi wajhikal baqi, I am seeking by your face. Allah doesn't have a face, but this is a poetic thing. By your face, which is baqi, which is forever. I am seeking you, you are forever. Ya khayra man su'ila, wa ya ajwada man a'ata, ya arhama man isturhima, jallilni birahmatik, wa albisni afiyatik, wasrif anni sharra jami'il khalqi. You are asking Allah here that you are Jawad, Ajwada, and you are the best of the giver for who asks you. And this is the end dua when you are seeing the sun is setting in Arafat. When the sun is setting in Arafat, remember, it is taking away all your sins together and drowning it in the horizon. You will wake up in the morning on 10th of Zil-Hajj, a different changed person. But on the day of Arafat, these duas and these amals are not to be taken lightly. They are very, very important. So on the day of Arafat, you do wukuf between Zohar and Maghrib. And the niyat is, I am doing wukuf of Hajj Tamattu for Hajjul Islam, wajib kurbatan ilallah. That's it. And then you keep on doing your amal. Some people would stand in the sun and keep the whole day of Arafat, do their amals. Recite Ziyarat-e Ashura, the best thing to do. Recite Dua Kumel, recite Salah, recite Salah for your parents who are alive, for your parents who are deceased, for your brothers, for your sisters, for your children, for anything. You recite that one. Recite for yourself. Fukka rakawati minan nar. Allah protect me from hellfire. How many times we have done mistakes? This is our day, the day of Arafat. So once it is Maghrib, you don't have to stay in Arafat. It is not allowed. So immediately you will find volunteers. The time the sun is setting, okay, Bayu, let's go to the bus. Because once the sun sets, the buses will be heading towards Muzdalifah. Be assured, your Arafat is accepted. Imam Jafar says, if you come out from Arafat and you still have doubts about yourself, that's not a good sign. Be happy that I have completed Arafat. Now you are going to Muzdalifah. Now it's all about you rejoicing what you have achieved in Arafat. So the ihram we have done and the wukuf of Arafat we have done, the wajib things. Now we are going to Muzdalifah. Again in Muzdalifah, the only wajib part is wukuf of Arafat or Mashharul Haram. The ayat of the Quran says, when you come out in flocks, from Arafat and you descend on the grounds of Mashharul Haram, then do the zikr of Allah kathiran. And the best zikr, as you heard Sheikh Adil Raza saying, Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. Tasbiyat arba should be continuously flowing from your mouth. So in Muzdalifah, again, there is no other thing but wukuf of Muzdalifah. So having stayed awake whole day in a very exhausting way, Muzdalifah, you can take a break, sleep at night at Muzdalifah. Your wukuf niyat would start from Subh Sadiq till when the sun rises. So at night we don't have to do anything in Muzdalifah, you just sleep, relax, and do dhikr of Allah. You can do amals, you can do anything, but try to reflect. Again, the tasbiyat arba should not come out from your tongue. Once it's Subh Sadiq, volunteers will tell you, "Hi, bhaiyo, beno, niyat karwano time avi gyo." Now I am making niyat. I am doing wukuf of Muzdalifah for Hajj Tamattu, for Hajjul Islam, wajib kurbatan ilallah. There is a slight difference in Masael for ladies here. For the ladies, they don't have to wait for Subh Sadiq. Once they reach there at night, whether it is 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, once they reach there, they just make niyat of wukuf without waiting for Subh Sadiq, and they can go to Mina. For gents, they will have to wait Subh Sadiq until sunrise and make niyat during that time. Now comes to the point of Salah, of Maghrib and Isha. It's Maghrib in Arafat, the sun has set. It is not recommended to pray the Maghrib and Isha Salah in Arafat. No. You have to go and pray this Salah in Muzdalifah. This is the only exceptional time where you can take your time to reach Muzdalifah and pray Maghrib and Isha. Ain namaz paro che time ma, ain ma paro, Arafat ne Muzdalifah che, Hajj che. Exception is a rule. You have to pray your Maghrib Isha in Muzdalifah. So when you reach Muzdalifah, you do your Maghrib Isha, relax. The ladies will make niyat and head to Mina. The gents will wait for Subh Sadiq, make niyat of wukuf, and when the sun rises, they head to Mina. Is it clear till here? I want to be sure you are clear till here. Is it clear? Clear, huh? Then only I can proceed. If you are not clear here, we will clear out all the questions so that we go smoothly together. Sa? Tuko pamoja? Yes, Hussein?
In regards to Arafat, you said that if we are making the most of it, we have to make. There specifically we are allowed to recite the dua that is mentioned.
You can recite Jahat Ashura. There is dua of Imam Hussein of day of Arafat. The gist of that dua is amazing. Imam Hussein has taught us that dua. You know what is the gist? Just the gist of that. Imam Hussein starts that, Allah, what of the things you have given me do I start thanking you? And listen to this. Do I thank you for creating a nurturing, nursing mother for me, from whose womb I was born? You are thanking Allah to the womb you are born with, who nurtured you and nourished you and nursed you, that you have the tawfiq to be on the day of Arafat. Allah, what can I thank you for? Can I thank you for the 4 pipes which are passing through my neck? Whether it is the jugular vein, whether it is the aorta, whether it is the trachea, whether it is the food pipe. What can I thank you? What can I thank you? Do I thank you for the eyes you have given me, for the ears, for the fingertips you have given me? How can I thank you? But yet, I have sinned you. And then he says, but you are so merciful. Didn't you know? Didn't you do this for Dawood? Didn't you do this for Ayub? Didn't you do this for Sulaiman? Didn't you do this for Musa? Now here I am, submitting myself to you. And this is the gist of the dua of Imam Hussein. You ask any psychologist, and you ask a mother, I don't have that experience, but what she has gone through, that labor pain, and how everything changes in her life, that if you are in the slums of Mumbai and a train is passing, you are still fast asleep. But if your child in that slums with a train passing, if your child just a little bit grumbles, your eyes is open. Oh, what's happening to my baby? But this same woman would not bother the train passing and the noise bothering her. But a little sound of the baby just wakes her up. And Imam Hussein is teaching us that in the dua of Arafat and many other things which he is mentioning. So remember, reciting the duas are very important. And if you can do it from advance to read it with a little meaning, it will give you a lot of lutf. Okay? So again in Muzdalifah you can recite Dua Kumail, you can recite Quran, you can do anything, rest, relax. Once it's Subh Sadiq, you make niyat of the wukuf. I am making wukuf of Muzdalifah for Hajj Tamattu, for Hajjul Islam, wajib kurbatan ila Allah. Then you wait for Subuh Namaz, you pray Subuh Namaz, and then once the sun rises, you are going to Mina. So we have done number 1, number 2, and number 3. Right? Now we are going to Mina. So we will have our IDs. We'll be in groups. You will not be lost. So don't worry about that. Just worry about the Masael. So you will be taken to Mina, safely to the tent. And from the tent, that day, you only have to stone the big shaitan. So the ladies who go at night, they can actually go directly and stone the big shaitan at night. It is allowed for the ladies. So they come back and they are in the tent in Mina. For gents, they will wait for the sunrise, go to Mina, go and hit the big shaitan and come back to the tent. Now how do you hit the big shaitan? Again, remember, hitting the shaitan is symbolic. The shaitan is our own nafs, our own doubts. That is why somebody, Ali Shariati says in his book, that the 3 shaitan are the 3 pillars of shak, the small one, shak, I am doubtful. Second one is shar, I am always wanting to fight. And the biggest one is shirk. To do shirk, the lamun adhim, is the biggest sin. To associate Allah with anybody else. So 3 shaitan are symbolic. But when you go to hit the big shaitan on the first day, on the day of Eid, then we have to remember, am I hitting myself? Or am I hitting the shaitan? Am I removing all my evils? For those who are smoking, I would say one of the stone is for my cigarettes, no more. Maybe, I don't know. But it is a hakam that you have to hit the 7 stones at one time. Like not 7 together, all of them, no. one after the other. Ideally, in Muzdalifah, while you are waiting for that niyat in Subh Sadiq, you go to the mountain hills and pick up the stones. Okay? But nowadays they don't allow that. And you can pick up stones anywhere in the haram, anywhere between the Makkah to Mina, anywhere. And these are the stones. They should be grayish, stony, little shiny, and real stone. Not cemented stone which break. And it should not be the size which will threaten anybody. No, this is not allowed. I brought this for example. This is not allowed. Laune badathi moto maru ene kai nati lagwan. It is from your heart, you are symbolically hitting the shaitan which caused the waswasa of other gods associated with the god of Ibrahim. So you need to use the right size. And this is the right size. You compare this one and compare this. This is the right size. The size is just like the size of my thumbnail. You see? And you collect 7 for the big shaitan. On the second day of Mina, that is 11th of Zilhajj, and the third day, which is 12th of Zilhajj, you have to hit all the shaitans, small, medium, and big, in sequence. So you will collect 49 stones. Or you should have 49 minimum, if all the 7 hit the target. Okay? So now we are hitting the shaitan. We have finished ihram. We have done the wukuf of Arafat. We have taken our weapons to hit the shaitan. We have done the wukuf of Muzdalifah. In the morning after Salah, we are going to Mina. Now we are going to the big shaitan. Remember to follow the volunteer and if they are allowed to hold the flag. Because sometimes while going to the big shaitan, the small and the middle are there. And some people are confused and some other people start hitting the small and middle. Then you start hitting them. It's not allowed on the first day. First day it is only big shaitan. So make sure you are reaching there. So when you reach there, you have the stone with you. The shaitan has become bigger and taller by drinking all that oil. So the Sharia says you have to try to hit to the original one, which is in the middle. So there are about 22 tiles, and the middle one, the middle 2 are the ones. And you will find the middle one is the most hit one. So just go as close as possible to hit there. And when you are hitting the shaitan, you make niyat. So you can't make niyat at the spur of the moment when everybody is pushing you, and your hand will go other way. And the stone will fall just on your feet instead of falling on the shaitan. So make niyat while you are about to reach, when there is still a lot of space. You make niyat, I am doing rami. Rami means hitting with stone of the big shaitan. Okay? I am making rami, or I am doing the hitting of the stone of the big shaitan for Hajj Tamattu. For Hajjul Islam, wajib qurratun Allah. Then you take the stone, look at place yourself and aim it and hit it. Look at your trajectory of the stone and you will feel its hit. So Bismillah Allahu Akbar, 1. You take another one. Bismillah Allahu Akbar, 2. Bismillah Allahu Akbar, 3. You are hitting the 4th and somebody comes and pushes you and the stone falls down. It's fine. Don't pick it. Because in the rush you might be crushed. So take another one extra which you have in your hand. Aim it. 4, 5. Bismillah Allahu Akbar. Bismillah Allahu Akbar. And finish the 7. Once you finish the 7, you come out. So the third ahkam is done. For the very sick people who are completely unable to go and do this, they can give niyabat to anybody to do it for them. There is no problem. Okay? After the heating of the stones, then you have to do kurbani. So you will find the volunteers have already gone to the place of kurbani, but they have just been ready to do kurbani. They can't do kurbani before you hit the stone. So if you are in a group of 10 with me, suppose, hitting the shaitan, and Hussein Bhai or Muntazir or Imtiaz Bhai or Shafiq or whoever is there as a volunteer has already gone to the Kurban Gah. They can't do the Kurbani until I tell them, Shafiq Bhai, A, B, C, D, my group A with 20 people or 10 people, we have all done the stoning. 18 of us have done 2 Bado Hawa Nekani. I am not sure if they have already done or not. So I am looking for them. They might have been in the tent already sleeping and have done already. Let me confirm. I can't tell them to do Kurbani if I am not sure that you have hit the stone. Remember this. So that logistics are important. Otherwise the mawalat, the continuity is broken. Pachi hajma ishkal થઈ જશે. So you do the stoning and inform your group person, whoever is the leader. Ame કરી લીધા છે Jamarat Ukba, big one. We have finished. Then they will do the Kurbani in your niyat. So they will do the Kurbani. After they do all that 20, whoever in that group, they will call you in the tent, that Kurbani of group A, in which there is the Molu brothers and Dosa and all others. It's done. So now they can do halak. That also applies to the ladies. Ladies don't do halak, but they do taksir. But they can't do that if Kurbani is not done. And Kurbani cannot be done if they have not hit the shaitan. So for the ladies, it's usually very convenient. Because we know they have stoned at night, and almost all of them have done. Right? So when the volunteers go, they do the Kurbani for the ladies first, without wasting time, all of them. So the ladies are out of ihram even before you have reached Mina, for example. You reach at 11 o'clock, wow, Omesha Maliza. So, you understand this part, huh? But the Sharia, the Ahkam, the Masail part is, you stone the big shaitan, and you stone it the way I have shown you, and you select the stones. I am told that this year, the Saudi government is going to supply us a bag full of stones, right on the day when you are leaving for Arafat. So we won't have to pick them up in Muzdalifah. So then the Kurbani is done. And then you do the halak. So the Sharia of the stoning, we have said, it should be done during the day. If you have not stoned the shaitan and Maghrib happens, for example, the buses were stuck or something happened, if it is already Maghrib, then you can't hit the shaitan. You have to be very clear, you are seeing this evil and hitting it. If it is Maghrib, you can't do the big shaitan, it becomes qada. It carries forward on the 11th. That's where you big shaitan, then you will do Kurbani and then you will do halak. And then everything will be carried forward. So make sure you do the stoning in the right time and inform others. Then there is Sharia of the Kurbani. Then the goat or the lamb should be healthy, strong, nice, measly. You feel like eating it up. It's okay if it is a little expensive. Then you remember the sacrifice of Habil and Kabil. Habil gave a big fat cow and Kabil gave a little hay and little dry grass. He said, God doesn't need this. I'm just giving this as sadaqah. And Habil's sadaqah was accepted. It's not about materialism. It's about sacrifice. And remember the sacrifice of Ibrahim. And remember the materialistic values which you have is being done away with one sacrifice. It is an insurance, a protection about you and your children and your progeny. So do a good sacrifice. Once the sacrifice is done, while it is being done, try to reflect about the story of Ibrahim and the story of Nabi Ibrahim and Nabi Ismail and that sacrifice story. I'll come to it a little later at the end. And then you do halak, so you remove the ego. Now you are like a newborn baby. And most of the part of your Hajj, until 10th of Zil-Hajj is over. Now you are out of ihram. But, big one, it is not complete out of ihram. You are out of ihram of those two pieces of cloth. You can have a bath, wear your trek pants, your kanzu, but you cannot put perfume. And you cannot meet with your wife. So no physical relationship with wife, no spousal relation, and no perfume. So the ihram of Hajj Tamattu comes out in stages. The ihram here in Umrah Tamattu is ihram out. It's like normal life. But ihram of Hajj Tamattu, no perfume. So you need to have your perfume-free soap and shampoo. So no perfume. Now we have finished halak. We are in Mina on the day of Eid. Now comes the 11th night. 11th night of Zil-Hajj. Right? So, what's the time? Yeah, so you want us to continue or stop here for today? Continue? We stop. Huh? We stop it, right? We continue next time. Maybe just a quick one, just to see what we will do next time. So now we have finished halak and we are out of ihram except for perfume and marital relation. But remember, there are those things which are always haram, whether you are in ihram or not, like uprooting the greens, carrying fire, carrying weapons, and being rowdy. So, matusi, bad jokes, carrying arms, uprooting greens, it's always haram. And the other two things. Now you are going to stay that night in Mina. I'm talking about option number 1. We will discuss more details about option number 2 and option number 3. Option number 1, you have finished Hajj, the main part. Now you are in Mina. Mina means love. Mina means rejoice. Mina means enjoy. Mina means your mannat has been accepted. So on the 11th night you sleep. Rest. 11th morning when you wake up, you have to hit all the 3 shaitans. And then come back in the tent. Just stay over until 12th morning. So stay the whole 11th day, sleep the 12th night, wake up on the 12th morning, go and hit all the 3 shaitan again. Come back in the tent. Once it is Dhuhr, pray your Dhuhr Asr Salah and off to Makkah. So you have finished your stay in Mina on 11th night and 12th night. and you have finished hitting the stone on the 11th day and the 12th day. So you can see here, Mina 11th night and 12th night, and stoning the small, medium and large, the three shaitan on 11th and 12th. That is done. That is option number 1. Don't confuse now. We will talk very detailed about option number 2 and number 3 and number 4. Okay? So now you are going to stay in Mina on the night of 11th. Wake up in the morning of 11th, hit the three shaitan, come back in your tent, read Quran, sleep, relax. Sleep on the 12th, wake up on the 12th, hit the three shaitan, come back to the tent, keep your whatever luggage, bags and things you have ready. Wait for Dhuhr, Asr, pray your Salah and off to Makkah. So these things are done. Mina, stoning. And you go to Makkah, now you know how to do tawaf. So now you have to do tawaf. You are not in ihram. Your ihram is partial, so you can't put perfume yet. You can't even give a peck to your wife. It's not allowed. Okay? So, are you listening? For those who have wife. So you are now going to Makkah. You have to do Tawaf Ziyarah. It is called Tawaf Ziyarah or Tawaf of Hajj Tamattu. So you do the Tawaf same like what we did in Umrah Tamattu. Same rules. Those 8 rules, Hajar Aswad and all those. We will come to details again. Then you do 2 rakat Salah of Tawaf. And then you do Sa'i of Hajj Tamattu, Safa Marwa. After the Sa'i of Hajj Tamattu, then you are allowed to put perfume. But still, marital relations are not allowed. So, then you do Tawafun Nisa, and the 2 rakats of Tawafun Nisa. Then the ihram is complete, except for uprooting, carrying arms, and being rowdy and abusive in Makkah. That's always haram. So, that completes the Hajj. So we will go to detail about the options in Mina and the rules and regulations in Mina. So we will stop here. Then we will continue from there next time. And then we will talk about this option as well. We'll talk about this. So don't confuse yourself now. Just focus on these things until Halak. And then the Mina on day 11 and 12. And the stoning on day 11 and 12. And then going back to Makkah. So, is it clear? Any questions? Any questions? We'll take questions so that we can, yes, Abbas. It is highly recommended to do it yourself. It is highly recommended to do it yourself. For men. So, the question is, can we do the Qurbani ourselves? The answer is yes. It is highly recommended that you do your Qurbani yourself. It is highly recommended. But there are logistic issues. There are practical issues. If I want to do Qurbani of myself, that means when I wake up in the morning of the 10th day, Eid day, I have to make sure I reach the stoning place in time. And from there, I have to actually go. It is very far to some place called Moisam, which is quite far. And then by the time I reach there, I have to do Qurbani. And I have to reach before Maghrib to Mina for doing Halak. The volunteers, they go very early in the morning. They do the stoning of their own. They are already in the Qurban Gah, waiting for you to tell them you have finished stoning. So they do your niyabat. Then it becomes very easy. But if you are able to join the volunteers and go and do that quickly, it is a good thing to do. It is a recommended thing to do. We will talk a little bit more about the Sharia of the Qurbani part next time. Okay? So, okay? Are we done here? So I will end up with one ayat of the Quran which reminds us of Imam Hussein, and that ayat actually directs us towards Imam Hussein. And that ayat is in Surah As-Safat, I think. Where is my Quran? And you have heard this many times. And now when you hear it on the 10th of Muharram, or during Muharram Majlis, and having gone through the Hajj, and seen it yourself about the Qurbani, then it will make sense. So Allah says in the Holy Book, Allah says in the Holy Book in Surah As-Safat, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَنَادَيْنَاهُ أَنْ يَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ إِنَّ هَذَا لَهُوَ الْبَلَاءُ الْمُبِينُ وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخَرِينَ. When Nabi Ibrahim did the sacrifice of Hazrat Ismail, and when he opened his eyes and found that instead of his son, Jibreel put a lamb, and therefore he was in state of fear and said, Allah, you did not accept my Qurbani? And Allah says, no. That dream was true, and I have accepted your sacrifice. But I will go to Fidya, وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحِ عَظِيمٍ. You remember what is Fidya? Fidya is to pay a ransom which is multifold. If you kidnap a poor person, then you will ask for 1 million. If you kidnap a princess, you will ask for 10 million. If you kidnap a king, you might ask for another. So when you are actually doing fidya, you are paying the ransom of the sacrifice of Ismail. وَتَرَكْنَاهُمْ. For the later times, we will give you the fidya of the Ismail sacrifice in the later times. What are the later times? That's Imam Hussein, from the generation of Hazrat Ismail. That's our sacrifice. وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحِ عَظِيمٍ. The greatest sacrifice will be your fidya. We have accepted your sacrifice. So this is what we should think about. This kind of words, this kind of ayats, reflections, so that we get the best out of our Hajj. Inshallah, we will continue more next week. So any questions we can ask while we are closing down here. Wabillahi tawfiq. Inshallah, the next session will be, because Friday is Kushali night, we won't have the session. Instead, we will have Monday and Tuesday. Inshallah. Right? Sunday.
Sorry, I'm sorry if you guys just please not leave because there's something small we want to give you guys. Because yesterday was my dad's birthday, so just have a small piece of pie that we want to give everybody.
That's why you came.
Oh, he didn't know himself, so it's like a surprise for him too.
Why you did this? So sweet. Thank you, Siraj. That's why you came today. Aha. What did you bring?